Hello there, my name is Dan and it's the 16th of August. So today the focus of the video is going to be on the varieties of tomato that I'm growing. So I have 4 different varieties here and 1 over there, and I have another mystery variety outside also. So that's going to be very interesting. We'll come to that one later. So regarding the varieties I'm growing, let me know what varieties you're growing. Are you growing any of the same varieties I'm growing here? How are your tomatoes doing this year? Very interested to know. It seems to have been a rather cool summer by UK standards anyway, and it has resulted in a later ripening of tomatoes here, and I understand that's actually the case in many other gardens as well. So quite a fascinating year with regards to the tomatoes. But we'll talk about the varieties that I've got growing here. I have Gardener's Delight here. Many of you will be aware of this variety. It's a German variety, very well known, a sort of sweet, tangy flavour to the tomatoes. Here I have a variety called Big Zack, which actually got the world record for the biggest tomato. Now I'm not going to be doing that, achieving that, but got a nice one ripening here, so that's really nice. Here I have a Romanian tomato called Paradise or Paradise Cherry. Now I spoke to a couple of Romanian people and they've said to me that Paradise, however it's said, means it's like a big tomato in Romania. So I presume Paradise Cherry means a big cherry tomato. So interesting, that one there. And here I have a variety called Grushovka, which is a Russian variety. So we'll have a closer look at some of these. We'll do a bit of a taste test and just you know, indulge in the beauty of the tomato. The sun is just there, so it's right in my face, but there we are, that's how it is. So let's pick a Gardener's Delight. So we've got some nice trusses here with regards to the fruiting, so that's very good. I didn't really look after this plant as well as I could have earlier in the year, and it did result in a side shoot forming out into a branch, if you want to call it that, which then produced. But I made the best of the situation and I'm still very happy with the crop. So look at that, really nice tomato. Let's try it. Yep, it's just that beautiful Gardener's Delight taste that many of us know and love, so very happy with that. Let's pick this one here. Let's pick this Big Zack. Okay, so we'll just cut a little bit off of Big Zack and see what it tastes like. Whoop. Yeah, nice. A sort of mild taste, really. And that would be very nice in a sandwich, something like that, or with a salad. To be honest, it's quite a nice tasting tomato actually. But yeah, Big Zack. So you never know. One day I might get close to you know, breaking the world record with the largest tomato. Definitely not going to be this year. But yeah, Big Zack, nice. So we'll have a Paradise Cherry. Now this is carrying a lovely crop actually. Maybe a good, well, 25 tomatoes on there. So there we are. Quite a nice you know, shaped tomato, a bit different to the Gardener's Delight. So let's try it. Now that's nice. That's a bit more on the sharpish side, which I actually like. I quite like a lot of my food to be a little bit sort of sharp, not too sweet in many cases. But yeah, I really like that actually, and it's very different from the Gardener's Delight. So nice bit of variety there, and yeah, plenty more to come, so that's great. So Grushovka. Now this probably could do with being a little bit riper, but I will pick it because I want to get a taste test on this video. And let's pick Grushovka. Okay, so let's try this. Going to try not to drop the knife this time. Always be careful when using knives. Okay, nice amount of seeds in there, which is very good for the subject of seed saving. Nice. Slightly more on the sharper side, but very slightly from the the Big Zac, but to be honest, not too dissimilar really. Try a bit of the Big Zac again. Yeah, they're actually very similar in taste. They're both lovely tomatoes, and they've made a good size as well, which is grand. These would be lovely actually in a sandwich. So yeah, Groshovka, lovely tomato as well. I grew that one last year and I was very impressed. That's another reason why I decided to grow it again this year. So down here I got a variety called Cocktail Crush. So I didn't actually grow these plants. Someone gave them to me. He grew too many of them, and he knows what I'm like, and therefore he gave them to me. And I've grown them here, and I've got some more outside, and they've done very well indeed. So here they are. Now, they are an F1 variety, which is I generally try and avoid growing F1s. It's a bit too much of an intervention for my style of gardening, which tends to be a bit more on the traditional side. But there we are. I was given the plants. If you want to go look into F1s, etc., you can look into that and do your own research. It'll be a nice little bit of reading for you anyway. Now that being said, they've produced a lovely crop, and let's have a taste of this variety. So there we are. Yeah, lovely tasting tomato. Will be lovely chopped up in a salad, etc. Great. And they are blight resistant, allegedly. So that's good if you're living in an area of heavy rainfall. I tend to grow the majority of my tomatoes under cover. That way they're less likely to get blight, which is a good idea in many ways. For example, the earlier part of the year, well, I say that, a few weeks ago we had quite a lot of rain. So, you know, the idea of growing blight resistant varieties is quite appealing in many ways. You can still even get blight if you grow them under cover in a polytunnel or a greenhouse. It is less likely, but yeah, have a look into you know, blight resistant varieties if it's likely to be a problem, or you know, you want to just sort of make yourself a bit more likely to get a good crop. But anyway, with all that being said, this variety here, Cocktail Crush, lovely. I can't look at the camera because the sun is right there, but here I've got some more Cocktail Crush growing outside. So had considerable rain over the last few weeks, and no sign of blight at all, which is great. And these are being grown outside. So there we are. Let's try one of these lovely tomatoes that's growing outside. Yep, nice tasting tomato, really good. So I hope this is coming out all right. Now look at this, really interesting. Look, that is really beautiful. Growing on that truss there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 7 on that truss there. That's really good. Now, can't actually remember the origin of this plant. Maybe it just grew in the compost, or maybe it was in one of the plants that I was given amongst the 10. There we are. Either way, I don't remember setting, well, I certainly didn't set initially this variety myself deliberately. However it's happened, it's a lovely little sort of truss there, and basically it's quite ornamental, and been quite a nice surprise. And it's growing in this pot with this grafted apple tree that I grafted myself. So, you know, very informal gardening here, but it's informally produced a lovely crop, or will do, so that's wonderful. And got another Cocktail Crush growing in this rather large container here with the cherry tree. So if you've got a small garden, running out of space, whatever, you fancy a little bit of informal gardening, there you go. You can do things like this and still get a good crop. I've eaten a few of these already actually. So there we are, some lovely varieties of tomato to grow. So I want to increase the volume of tomatoes I grow, and I also want to grow some more varieties because I'm really enjoying, to be honest, the growing of tomatoes, and even with all the lateness, still appears to be quite a good year here for tomato growing, so that's good. So next year, more varieties. So bearing that in mind, please feel free to comment in the comment section below and recommend any varieties you grow yourself. I'll be very interested to hear maybe what's good about them, maybe they're blight resistant, maybe they just taste really good, maybe they're a massive cropper, whatever. And or even their ornamental value, because that's also a factor. So let me know. So I hope you enjoyed that video. You can subscribe if you enjoyed that video. Hope you did. Hope you found it useful. And yeah, I hope your tomatoes are doing well. I'm going to pick some now and eat the ones that you saw me previously cut up. Anyway, thanks very much for your time, and I shall see you in the next video. Okay, so here's a little one for you. Now, this was a Gardener's Delight plant. I suspect it's a Gardener's Delight that I planted earlier in the year. So look at that. Now, I left it in the pot there, didn't have any room for it, or I didn't make room, one or the other, or both. And you can see it's actually starting to produce a little crop there. So, you know, even if you're so sort of relaxed or informal, or just don't have much time for the growing of tomatoes, I mean, look at that. And that's just multi-purpose compost, no feeding, nothing like that, and you can get a crop. I mean, even if you had like 10 of these just like this, totally neglected, I've watered it obviously, you know, you could end up with a, you know, a bit of a salad crop. So certainly interesting. That's tomatoes for thought, that is.